the ultimate nice guy that's ever been portrayed probably in media, it may be Forrest Gump. And was Forrest Gump aware of women problems necessarily? Was he actually this great, intelligent, perfect dude?
Oh, he was far from intelligent. I mean, he had not a learning disability, but his IQ wasn't as high.
But he was a sweetheart, and that's what carried the movie.
Yeah.
And look how he was treated by
Jenny.
I should put a trigger warning because I know somebody's going to get triggered and they're going to be like,
no, I love
women.
Maybe say I love the movie.
Women?
All women are queens.
Let me just say this real quick. Forrest Gump was the perfect man for any woman. But let me just tell y'all something about the reason why I have an issue with Jenny. Let's talk about this movie real quick. So Forrest Gump does all this stuff. They're growing up. Jenny, she did go through a lot. You know, she was and is a damaged girl. She grows up, goes through a lot. You know, goes all throughout all her phases. Forrest Gump still showing her love. Yes, she leaves him. Yes, she joins all these groups, then leaves him. Forrest Gump gets older. You know, becomes rich. Becomes successful. It so happens that Jenny decides to wise up and get with him. Yet, she actually had
a kid by him.
Huh?
A kid by him.
And she was also HIV positive?
I thought it was hepatitis C.
Hepatitis C.
I mean, dang, we don't have to. I don't think.
Yeah,
either way, she died.
I think, yeah. So like, where she was sick by the time she got with Forrest. I'm not saying that that was implied in the movie, but at the end of the day,
she exhausted every other option
until she got with him. This movie actually showed the saying "nice guys finish last" because, again, there's been an argument because Forrest Gump literally spent his entire life doing all this great stuff, still
waiting for Jenny,
waiting for her.
But I mean, I think everybody kind of likes the idea of having somebody wait for them. And I've been listening to that Drake song "Good Ones Go," and really, I kind of feel like I can't relate. But I feel like I guess deep down, I do kind of still relate to that in some way that if I did have to go out and do something, if I did have to go to Vietnam and all this stuff, or whatever the hell Jenny was doing the whole time. That somebody would be there for you at the end of the day.
Well, that's the whole point of kind of having a spouse. But the issue is that Jenny wasn't treating him as if that was her spouse. Jenny was treating him as if that he was a source of forever love no matter what. That she says, sorry, I can't be with you. She just goes out, just does things she wanted to.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, listen, of course she was damaged, she went through a lot. And of course, I'm not just blaming her fully about that because, she definitely needed help. But at the same time, everyone is damaged to a sense.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to excuse her, but I'm also going to hold her responsible as well. Because, again, at the end of the day,
you understand, but at the same time, it's not okay.
Yeah, she decides to get with him after she does everything under the sun. And also, it has the fact that he's actually a rich man, too.
Yeah.
Which everyone
But
says.
I feel like, low-key, that is kind of a lot of people's fantasy.
And how many times have we seen it in movies or TV shows where the nice guy or the good guy gets rejected when he was young, then he grows up and becomes rich, and the girl that rejected him, she starts liking him, or whatever happens.
But the thing is, men also have that. They kind of make up that fantasy too, and it's like, I'm rich now. Fuck you.
Yeah, of course. That's it. Now that that is the other side of the coin, but we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. So I want to focus on just that dynamic alone as far as those two. Is that again? He may be considered the ultimate good guy, but again,
he finished last.
Oh, he finished beyond last.
I mean, did he really though?
It's 11-11.
Make a wish.
Oh, it's 11. It literally just turned 11-12.
Wait, Myles?
You probably thought of it.
I was gonna say that. Did he truly finish last though? I mean, think about it. At the end, though, he got what he wanted. Though he had his wife, he had a beautiful son who was smart, way smarter than him, and he didn't have to worry about his son being how he was and getting picked on because of that. Mm-hmm. He accomplished so many things throughout his life, and at the end of the day, he still was able to have Jenny, even if it was brief. He still had that.
No, and I understand that, but the thing is that I think men can view that movie at different points and times in their life and reflect with Forrest on some level, regardless of wherever he was. Even when he was, with Lieutenant Dan, when he was, doing the
cross country
stuff. Yeah. All of that on some level, I feel like we all can relate to. And it's something that kind of brings you back. In terms of Jenny, if you think of her as the prize, I mean, I don't have a problem, I guess, with her trying her options out. And, the thing is that what really makes it un-okay is really just the fact that Forrest, I guess, kind of...
He was living his life, but then she came back into the picture.
No, I mean, and the thing is, I guess you can't even say there's really anything wrong with that. No, there's a lot wrong with that. But just for the sake of argument, the only thing that really bothers me is the fact that she came back when she was literally dying. I mean, if you can't say that's finishing last,
Did she know she was sick when she came back to him? Or
I thought that was the reason she came back.
No, at first, like, they met up. The whole thing was when he's at the bus stop saying "life like a box of chocolate."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They met because like she called him, and that's when she introduced her to Junior, or him to Junior, and then like months later, probably like weeks later, she's like, "Hey yo, let's get married." They got married, and then like a few months later, she's like, "Yo, I'm dying." So then, yeah.
Well,
the timing of all that is just crazy. I'm not.
It is crazy, but the thing is, I interpreted it differently. So I guess I would have to go back and rewatch it again because I was not thinking about it from that perspective. But the other issue kind of is that if Forrest could really understand that Jenny was not trying to commit, the argument kind of could be made that maybe Forrest wouldn't have waited, but because he is kind of disabled,
he forever provided that unconditional love.
Yeah.
Which, like, there's just two arguments. Like, on one side, it's like, well, why would I give love to someone that's not going to provide it back to me at this moment? That's wasting my time. Or to some people, is that, I love them so much that I know eventually they'll come back around, so I'll still provide it. Or we all have that one person I like, if it's an ex or someone that we're talking to that, we have an issue with, is that, I don't want to lose you.
I said, Drake said he always felt like sticking around is the same as being stuck.
Hey, it is two different, I said there's just two sides to that.
Yeah.
It's up to you to determine what side you're on. But I just want to reopen that because, from seeing different arguments on the internet, sadly, when I'm going through, a lot of people made good points about how they were in their shoes and realized that, Forrest completely wasted 30 years of his life.
Yeah.
Since, he does have a beautiful child, like you said, he doesn't have
But it
that
wasn't
woman.
on purpose.
Yeah, it wasn't. And he doesn't
was
have
it?
that woman.
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't think so.
I know that one scene they had, they kind of like hinted that they did have sex, so I guess.
Oh no, they did, and it was a hit and quit. Like,
I mean, we know it because they had a kid.
Yeah, in that case, I mean, still, but they had, like overall, he has a kid, but he doesn't have Jenny.
Yeah.
He still lost her in the end. I mean, he could have had her, or at least had someone that was just like her so many years ago.
Yeah.
Like
but I guess that kind of goes back to, I guess, a sense of moralities in the sense of, if you kind of believe in soulmates and whatnot, do you stick around and let her do whatever else, and work her way through it until your souls meet at the end or whatever? I guess that depends on what you consider the story. If you consider the relationship the beginning or the end, I mean, I'm serious, I do feel like some people think getting with the girl is the end point, but I feel like a lot of women also feel like getting the ring is the end point, but really,
it's the happily ever after effect.
Yeah.
Disney, man.
Disney. We are going to Disney World. We maybe should stop
bashing on them.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
Before they kick us out, as soon as we step in, you hear Mickey go,
we are making observations. It would be funny to record a fight between you and Mickey Mouse this time.
I'm not trying to get kicked out on Disney. No.
Listen, you will go viral so fast.
What it be, your boy Myles B. Thanks for tuning in to the Victory Clique Podcast. Hey, if you like what you've seen, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And make sure you follow us on our podcast, our social media, and especially our Instagram. If you like what you see, mostly me, continue watching. Have a good one.